It's also good, yeah. Arsenicon album, and arsenicon, one of the keynotes for arsenicon is that you have a discharge. Yes, that's, that's a keynote for that.
How do you spell that one?
Because it's,
okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. Aconite, you got that one, right? And then you have arsenicon, which is just, mentioning, and it's also good for cold, for cough, and also for issues with your stomach, okay? And one of the things notes for the arsenicon is for, especially when you have a discharge, okay, like a nasal discharge, free discharge. Then you have gelsemium, okay, which is, gelsemium is also for a cough, a cold, and fever, okay, especially when they, it's a lot of aching, and it's the first remedy also for colds, okay. The first thing is gelsemium. Another thing for gelsemium, let's see, someone had, especially works beautiful with old people, okay. I'm talking about old, like 80s, 90s, and you know how sensitive they are, right? And they get a diarrhea right away because someone says something, they get a bad news. And this works also for adults, but it's a very key note, is that lose diarrhea after someone give you a bad news, gelsemium. And stop the I'm telling you, okay? So remember that gelsemium is also good for diarrhea, for cough, and colds.
Is that one on here?
No, this is the, if anybody wants these remedies, I have them and I can email it for you, okay? No, it's not in there because that's the, yes, exactly. So, and then belladonna, what I mentioned to you before, is BELLDONNA, belladonna, that's for fever, okay? Then you have pulsatilla, PULSATILL, and this is especially when the child has, or the adult, you can be used. The good thing about remedies is that when you buy remedies, you don't just buy them for your child or for you buy them for the entire family, or even for your pets. The dogs and cats, they can have them too. Horses, they can have them too. So pulsatilla, it's a remedy that main keynote in pulsatilla is yellow-green mucus. Okay? Remember what I was telling you that when you go to the counter, you said, oh my God, I have a cold, but I don't have this, I have this, so these are the things that you need to look. Yellow-green mucus, that's pulsatilla. And then bryonia, which is, it comes from a root, is great for dry cough. Bryonia, BRYONIA. Okay? And for sore throat, okay, you have your child says, Mommy, my throat hurts, I cannot, eat, and they're very thirsty, and you notice the tone is very important also to tell you how you're feeling, how you're getting, if you're sick or not. And you see this white coated, and the tone, mercurios solubles. Mercurios is exactly the way it sounds. Mercurio solubles. And that is a remedy, #1 remedy for sore throat. Okay? Especially when there's starting an infection going on. The same thing, mercurius goes also for ears, okay? And for bronchitis, when there's a lot of mucus here. Okay, and then it's thin, which is, you get an insect and bite, apis, A-P-I-S. Apis comes from Remember at the beginning I was telling you I was giving you samples of how homeopathy they work about the base of the same symptoms, you know, the similarity, which is called the law of similarities. Apis, it comes from a bee. What did the bee does? You know, when you know you gets red, right? It gets red and it gets, you know, swollen, right? So for anything that has to do with mosquito bites, sting, it's apis.
Is that
A-P-I-S.
is it topical? You put it on the bite or
Pellets.
you take it?
Pellets. Pellets under the tongue. All these so far, they're remedies.
Right.
Okay?
So,
But there are also combinations there that they have, you know, like there's tuja, there's calendula, there's, you know, a variety of creams that they're combinations of remedy that is also good for that. But what we're talking so far, they're remedies.
so I mean, if they get a mosquito bite, they take the.
You can give them Apis. That's the number one. Yeah. Okay. Then for ear infections, okay, you have pulsatilla, you have ferrum phosphorical, and hepar-sulfuric. Those are the three main remedies for ear infections. When either already starting the ear infection or already have the ear infection. And again, you have to look at the symptoms and the description of the remedy to see if it matches with the symptoms of your child. Let's say you take it to the doctor and it says, okay, the infection is external, is internal. So there are remedies that they are for externals and there are remedies that are for internals. It depends where the infection. If it has fluid, there's remedies that it will give you to drain it, okay? So, but that's when you go in with a professional, you know, homeopath, and it's more like deep, more chronic, you know.
What if your kid just wakes up like, my ear hurts, and you can't go to the doctor because it's 2 o'clock in the morning?
Right, so that's what the remedy that you should have at home. You know, pulsatilla,
Okay.
Pulsatilla, ferrophosphorica.
So if they don't have ear infection, it's not gonna hurt them to take those?
No,
just in
it's
case?
not gonna even, you know, I mean, help, you know, to get, you know, feel worse or, no. Or the other thing good about homeopathy is that you can take remedies while you're taking a medication.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's
So
not
you
gonna
take,
affect
like,
you. Yeah.
Thing and Tylenol at the same
Yes.
time, it's
Yeah.
not gonna like.
Yeah,
do something
it
bad.
will help, it will speed the healing process. But I know there's a lot of parents that they refuse to take antibiotic, they refuse to give them, you know, medication, and they just use homeopathic, and it takes time, but you get through, you know, so. Okay, so those are the main remedies for, you know, the basic, what we call the first aid home kit to have it at home. They can be good for you and they can be good for your family, for your children, and for your pets, okay? Then besides the remedies of homeopathy, I always recommend also to have, like, for example, garlic drops that I'm sure you all know, okay? And you can buy them here. Expect, you know, which is also, you know, a syrup, and it's made of herbs. Tuning cells and two. You can buy Chestal, which is made from Boron, which is a French homeopathic lab, and that is basically to get rid of that mucus, okay? And that's homeopathic, and that's a combination remedy.
What's the garlic drops
Yeah.
for?
For the pain and infections in your ear. Yes. Okay. And then another natural antibiotic that I highly, highly recommend is the colitis silver, which I'm sure everybody's aware about.
No, I don't know. What is
Yeah.
that?
Oh.
Yes.
Colitis silver, and you can get it here.
What is that?
Yeah, there is in made of in spray, and it's also in liquid. I think it's only liquid and spray, but I haven't seen it in another type of form. Colitis silver, it comes from silver, okay, And just to give you a little story about colloidal silver, and you know, in the century times of 200-300 years ago, when there was no antibiotic, okay, they used to put silver coins in the milk, and they will see that the milk will preserve longer, okay, because it will kill the bacteria. Okay, so that's why, you know, it's a natural antibiotic, and it's also it's a good thing to take when your immune system is down. I've always said do not take it more than 10 days. Okay?
Is that for all of them or?
For the colloidal silver. Yes.
Can you spray a child eye with the silver, colloidal silver? If a child has wet eye, can you spray that in there?
I will go better, you know, with like a combination drops for homeopathy, and I would, instead of using the colloidal silver.
Or I've used chamomile tea
Or
bags.
you can use chamomile tea bags, or you use euphrasia. That's a remedy for, you know, any like discharge or anything, you know, from the eye. Euphrasia. Okay, and I'm gonna go very quick because most of the remedies that I put for you here, okay, on the summer first aid kit, we already talked about it. Aconite, remember that I said that that's the #1 remedy, you know, when you have cold or any kind of type of symptoms. Apis is for the burning, stinging, redness, and swellings of the bead sting. It also you know, is good for hives, okay, that comes from the bee, okay. Arsenic on album, that we have here our friend that she uses, you know, for, you know, colds and also for diarrhea and vomiting. That's a you know, remedy good to have at home. Arnica, which is come from a plant, and it's also good for, you know, trauma and injuries, and I said, you know, for shocks too, and it relieves inflammations and pain. A lot of the things, you know, when your child, you know, fall and God forbid, you know, broke his arm, or, you know, that's great, you know, #1 remedy to put it in you know, the arm to help him with the pain, okay. Belladonna, which is a remedy that you can use for fever, okay, and also for, you know, now that we're getting into the summer, you know, there's child sometimes that they get really red and you know, they dehydrated. Belladonna is a good one in a very low potencies. Calendula, we talk about it, you know, it's also good for, you know, to fight any type of infection. Cantaris, we talk about it as well, you know, that it's also good for any type of burning, hot burning, okay. And cucullus, which comes from a plant as well, and that's good, you know, when you're taking a boat or you're traveling in a plane, you know, and your kids suffer from motion sickness, okay, that's #1 remedy for either boat or plane, okay, cucullus, and it's right there. Then you have Nux vomica, which is the #1 remedy for indigestion and hangover, okay, so that's good to have it at home.
Do you have anything here for gas?
Excuse me?
Do you have anything here for gas?
And you can use magnesium phosphonicon, and you can use also carbo-veg, V-E-G, carbo-veg, okay? And then you have the rose stalks, with, you know, this is the main remedy for poison ivy, okay? This is a great remedy, and also for any type pain that it gets worse in moving, you know, like if you walk and instead of getting better, it gets worse, rose stalks is a good remedy for that too. Okay, so like I explained to you before, all pellets and, you know, potency, there is 6C, 30C. Normally you take 5 pellets under the tongue, okay, and you wait 15 minutes before you drink or eat, okay? Or if you just have food, you wait 50 minutes, and then you take your remedy. Or you took your remedy and you wanna have food or you wanna drink, you wait 50 minutes. So that's the #1, you know, one of the tools in homeopathy.
Are we supposed to use half that amount for children, or is it okay to give them 5?
It's the same,
It's the
you
same
know,
either
1,
way?
2, 3